So we are doing, this is a nice scene, the same scene that we've done in the past, but it's kind of, this is now the more winter landscape. There's still some more like the trees. I was going to do some like with the snow on the top, but I was like, let's just do it like this. This is what New York really does look like. So,
Okay.
all right. So we do our natural dipping our water in all of our paints, like 1 or 2 drops into each one. And we'll just get them all nice and activated, ready to paint. And I have my little cheat sheet. I don't know if you can see. Let me like beep, over there. Got my little cheat sheet.
Oh yeah.
As I'm doing it.
Okay.
So I always start with that. The same thing like how we did in the past. I'm gonna do this the cream color of the bridge and the buildings and all any kind of like start with that color first. So we'll keep an eye on that. So that is a mixture of a little bit of the yellow and a little bit of the orange. And I'm making a puddle. So it's kind of like a tiny bit of brown just to dirty it up so it's not so lemony. You want it to be like what cement looks like. And I always start with I like doing just go right into these buildings. So it's just a very like, it's like a dirty yellow.
The whole building, right?
Yeah. And the same the little guy on the side too. And there's a building over here that's kind of hiding in the bushes. You can do him too. Were you able to trace him out?
I was.
Okay,
I didn't get the paper, but I used a charcoal pencil.
Okay. Okay, that's so that
Instead.
way you can see, yeah.
And it came out much better.
Right. Okay. The same thing. This is the same color I'm going to be using on the bridge. And like what we did last time, we'll just make sure you fill that hole all the way up to the little planter, the whole base of the bridge, even in the shadow part. I'm filling it all with that color. So creamy cement kind of mixture of a little bit of orange, a little bit of yellow, a little bit of brown, dirty it up with some water, smear it out.
I told my niece about your pet painting thing.
Oh yeah, what'd she say?
Because they live in the city, her and her boyfriend. And she said the place is pretty close, and they have a puppy.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah.
They said, "Oh, that would be really fun."
Totally. So, and you know what? They've been now with the indoor dining, which is great because you can kind of alleviate some of the outdoor space for the pet people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just going to get nicer and nicer. It's like I think we're kind of getting over the hardest times of the cold, the wintry. And what I'm doing is I'm actually taking that same color and just bringing it down because this is going to be an underlayer of this yellow. Just bring in the bridge in this whole corner. So fill that whole corner and just bring it up a little bit.
Same color.
Yeah, it should be just like a pale, like dirty yellow.
Okay.
I hope our friend can join us. I'm assuming maybe she is in the same situation with the other lady that didn't realize the time zone. I'm trying to figure that one out.
You don't know? You can't tell where she's from, right?
No, I know. That's why I wanted to tell them. Like, is there a way that you can automatically say this? By the way, this is coming from New York. So when I send the picture now, I say this is. I don't think everybody knows what Eastern Standard Time Zone means.
Right.
I was like,
well, and it's so funny though, right? I wouldn't think that a class given in New York would be advertised in California. It never even dawned on me.
No, I mean, and
right?
I've done I've taught people in Scotland too. So it's it's worldwide. One lady, she was joining me late at night when I was teaching, like in the afternoon. I was teaching at 3. She was like, "Oh, it's 10 o'clock at night here." So, yeah. I just added it's same kind of that same yellow. Now I just added tinge of the orange because I'm doing like that orangey, kind of similar to what we had done in the past, and I'm just kind of going into that, just darkening up that same color that we just made a puddle of it. Just added a bit more orange and hit down the bits of orange.
Okay.
That
looks like a lot of water, you know.
It's just like a puddle, not super. It's not super light. I mean, I'm going up to the next level where. So the lightest color is going to be that what we just had put down. Now we're building up from there. We go on to the next one that we're building up a next layer. So kind of what I did back here, just did a little smudge of. It's kind of a mixture of fall and winter going on together. I saw one picture that had all the snow on the trees and everything, but it was very monochrome. Said it wasn't fun for doing a nice watercolor. I like a little bit of color, so I like the way this was a bit of fall mixed in with the snow, and it looks more like what New York weather looks like. So, and now I'm just going up against the edge here, what I had just done before, doing that orange over there. Again, just mixing it a little bit in there. Okay. And you could kind of go, you know what, I'm doing leave a little bit of that like hay color that you had left there. And now this is just building up this kind of bushes. I'm just kind of taking that same orange. So whatever you do in your painting, you want to kind of make sure that it goes around the all 3 corners of your painting somehow. So you get that fill up the nice composition. Each corner has a touch of the same color.
Oh, is that a thing?
Yeah, the tricolor, the tri effect. So that way, it's not, and so that way it balances out your painting, so it's not so like lopsided on one side. Like if you're ever going to use, when we do the red, like you don't want just a pop of red on one thing and that's it in the painting, unless you're really trying to make a statement about it. You want something nice. That's why the red is going to be in here, here, and here. So there's a tri-effect with the red. There's always a trifecta. So like the yellow is like here, here, and here. That's the trifecta of the yellow. And the blue is here, here, and here. So the blue goes. So everything is in triangles. That's what makes the composition nice. You balance out all the colors. Okay, so now
you never.
So now I'm gonna do that thing. That was what I was saying about the water. I'm gonna do this. So now cleaning off my brush completely. You don't want any yellow or orange on your brush. So dip it in the water, and I'm gonna take that cyan in there. Make sure it's not mixed with anything else, and really wet your brush. So it's kind of just doing a bit of just like a dry right there. Just kind of here. I didn't go all the way up to the edge, and I'm gonna leave it there. Now I'm gonna clean up my brush, and I'm just doing just pure water. I cleaned off my brush. I'm just doing so that it'll drip down like like icicles.
Okay.
And go back in here with a little bit of the blue in the wet clean enough. I just wanted to give it a little bit of color. And just pure water.
Clear water all the way down to the bottom?
Yeah. And you kind of want that water just to kind of like all the way up. I did it all the way up to the edge here. Keep that where the snow edge is. That should always stay as the paper.
Okay.
And then I do a little bit, again, pure water right above it to the shore.
Okay.
And it's left to right strokes the way ice would be. It's very horizontal. Okay, underneath the bridge is, I want to add now some navy to my brush. I want that to be pretty dark. You just go up to the edge there. You leave that to the edge. And don't forget, this little corner is also that cyan blue.
Oh,
the original, yeah, sorry. I forgot it too.
Right.
And just dab it a little bit. I wonder what happened to our other little friend. Where did she go?
Yeah, that's a shame.
It's funny, I moved it so that for you, so she could join. Go figure.
That's fine. It actually worked out. It was fine for me.
So what I did here.
Worries. I'm glad you reached out and asked.
Yeah. And like, I just took that same, the cyan, and just up to the edge of the bridge. Now it's probably going to blend into that navy. I'm wiping off my brush so it's a little bit dry. I use my paper towel, just dabbing it off a little bit, and just you can almost use it as your dry brush as a sponge to smush the paint, move it along there. Now that it's all wet, you don't want to get too drippy over there in the corner. You want that should stay over there, just at the edge there. And see this bridge, it's really dark on here, and then it goes a little bit. So you can kind of spread it out a little bit, kind of.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I just took that, like a cleaner brush with that same navy that was on it. All right. So now we can do, now that we have that navy on my brush a little bit, we can do some of the edges of the snow, kind of.
Okay.
So you start out with just kind of outlining your drawing here. Remember to leave that white. The white is going to be your snow, and where those little hash marks are kind of like where the rocks are poking through. So just going to take some navy blue and go on top of those hash marks. We'll go over those hash marks and make the rocks. But on top of the hash marks, just take a little bit of navy. That's where the shadow of the snow would be.
Okay.
The same thing right on the edge here. There's some rocks on the edge. I'm just gonna go over them with some. Same thing over here. And that same navy I'm gonna do along the edge here on the bottom where the close-ups edges are. The snow bank. Just kind of follow, and it also will help cover up your lines. And if it's too navy, just wipe off like what I just did. I just wiped off my brush. And you could smear some of that. If it's super, super dark with the navy, you just want to, blend it out a little bit.
But we want it to be blue, right?
Yeah. But sometimes if it's like really, really dark, you just kind of With the snow, you just want it right along the edge. You want that, like, kind of just follow that edge. And we'll go in there and do a little bit of cyan shadows, too. But make sure you...
And it's just...
What's that?
Sorry. It's just tapping the color, right? It's not drawing it.
Yeah, I'm just going along the edge here. See how I just drew along the edge? And I went up to where my bushes were going to be. And I did that same navy along this little snowbank. And I'm going to do it all the way back in the back one here. Just kind of right underneath.
By the orange tree?
Yeah. So you can, if it mixes, it's okay. Just go on top of it a little bit and smush it. Because that's in the distance anyway. So you just kind of like, that could be kind of, and just wiping some of it off. So let me see now. So that's that same blue, that navy. I kind of like, I'm going to do that. It's like a wash stuff. That's what we're going to do, the same kind of technique on the edges of the trees. But first we're going to do the sky. Similar to the way we did the water. I'm just cleaning off my brush. I'm making it pretty much just water. And I'm just smearing water. Brushing all the water, plain water, right from my bucket. Right around at the top of the sky. You don't have to go really into the details of the trees and stuff. I just push it up to the trees a little bit, just to touch on it. Not too wet, because you want to like leave the edge of the trees kind of dry, because we want to go in and do our little navy edging. But again, that line is very organic. It doesn't have to be exact.
Okay.
And you can. So I'm just wetting the white of the sky up to the edge of the trees.
And what does the wetting it do?
The wetting of the paper is going to make the sky kind of blend out the color like a soft. It won't be so hard. You won't see the brush strokes so hard.
Okay.
So with the sky is pretty. There's puffy clouds and stuff in the sky. You want it to be very like easy, like spread. That's what's perfect. Watercolor is really conducive for sky. That's what the best part of watercolor is, doing sky. So when you wet down the paper, you get the paper ready for when you put down the paint, that it spreads the way sky should look. So now that I wet it, I'm using that same blue, that cyan blue that I did for the water. Because basically the water was reflecting off the sky. And it's sort of the darkest at the top. And because, see how it drips down? Because I have it up top here.
Oh, okay.
And it drips down.
So it's supposed to drip.
Yeah. And yours is on flat surface, which is better. This is very extreme. Like, you don't want watercolor to drip this hard, but that's okay. I can just pull it back up. But the idea is the darkest is at the top. And it should slowly come down and drip down to the water that you just painted. And you go right up to those bushes. And what's fun about this, if it starts to drip into your something that you don't want it to, that's when you're going to get your wet paper towel and do your nice clouds.
Okay.
I'm going right up to the edge. These little buildings that I did. This is where you got to be like a little bit. With the trees, you can go like smush it, or like, it doesn't have to be exact. But the buildings, they should be a little more delicate around the edges a little bit, because that will make a nice edge. And take that and go up. Your buildings should be dry by now, so you just kind of go around them. Again, if you go over your edge of the building a little bit, take your wet paper towel. You just dab it a little bit. Doesn't have to be perfect. And just kind of go up to the edge. Same thing here.
That's part of my problem.
What, being exact?
Thinking everything has to be perfect.
No, that's okay. Sometimes it's just in your head.
Oh, there's a lot going on in my head, for sure.
Yeah. So you just go Sometimes I feel like when you make little mistakes, like it actually makes a more interesting painting.
That's a good way to look at it. I got to remember to stay the same brush strokes too, because I kind of like turn into coloring it in, and then you can see that.
Right. So what a nice
As
trick,
opposed to
especially
sticking.
like what I do is circular, especially with the sky, because if that's how it ends up, you can always say, oh, that was the clouds. You know.
Oh, that's a good trick.
So when you're doing the
All right.
sky, you can just do like little circular motions because that you can get away. And another little trick. This is where I would say like do the puffy clouds. You kind of just I'm going right on top of some of my trees because we're gonna be hitting those with some edging. I'm just gonna. You can go. Don't take all the way the blue that you did, but there's some puffy clouds up there, and this is what and you get that wet paper towel and kind of just, especially goes around those buildings. Here's some nice building, some clouds, little winter clouds. There you go. And that's probably a nice way to get some clouds in here, and also and you can take that blue and go into your trees too. Just now that I'm in here, I'm like, let me just go in because. This is where the sky is going to be poking through. These trees are kind of naked.
Oh, okay.
So I'm taking that blue and just kind of, see, I'm just poking it around, just giving it a delicate little blue. So it's also stark white. So it looks like there's a little bit of sky that's going to be behind these trees. Because when we go in and do those trees, but I don't want it to make it really dark sky. So I just took, my paper towel is almost acting as a paintbrush now. It's kind of like taking
in between the trees.
Yeah, I'm just kind of not going hardcore, but I just so now that the trees kind of there's no hard edge of where the trees start and where they end.
Okay. Oh, that circular motion makes all the difference.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite little circular moves. So, and now that I still have that cyan on my brush, I'm gonna go in and do some touches into the snow. So just a little bit of shadowing here. It's pretty light, just a little touching. It's the reflection of the sky. Same up here. Again, you want to make sure that you don't cover up all your white. Just little touches. Just little touches here and there, along the sides. Over here, like little take off of your navy, but definitely leave a little bit of your white there. That's important. Little shadows. Okay. Okay. Oh, and I forgot there's a little bit of snow over here, right under the bridge here. Well, I'll just do a little bit of navy there. Cyan there. Okay. So, now, we're going to do, next thing we're going to do is, let's go into the browns. So now, the browns is like the tree trunks, the rocks, the shadows, all the tree trunks here, all these tree trunks here. And what I did was when the brown gets a little bit, like once I do the dark point, I do a little bit of up in the, just kind of a watery brown. And what I'm going to do is same thing with a paper towel, kind of smush it out. Just kind of, you want those trees to just be like in the distance. But first, so mix in a little bit of the brown. And I'm going to do some of these rocks. You want to make them like right along the edge here. You don't want it wet. You want to have like some control over it. So if you have too much water on your brush, wipe it off on your on your paper towel, and so you have a little more control. The less water that you have on your brush and in the paint, the more pigment, the darker the color, the more poignant the color will come out. So I'm just going over these little, like, those hash mark lines, those little, again, it doesn't have to be exact. So where the rocks were showing through in the woods. Same thing with the trees. It's basically just the straight brown. Not too watery, you have a little more control over it. And I'm just going to try to fill those out a little bit. What I'm going to do is go over that again, but this is like the first layer of the branches and the trees. So we're just gonna go into, and this part, just to have fun. It doesn't, you don't have to follow the lines exactly. Like if you miss the line, you're just like, all right. That if you have the carbon paper underneath that drawing, that's part of the drawing as well. So you don't have to go over that. You can leave that as is, especially the skinny lines.
Okay.
I kind of leave those a little bit. I'll leave those alone. I'm just kind of smear a few off to the side there, just for color. Alright, I'm seeing one of these guys back here. So our special guest never came. That's not. I'm like,
well, if it's because of the time zone, she's going to be bummed. That's for sure.
No, it was funny. I was like, trying to.
Well, I feel bad for you having to do this for just one person.
No, this is good because you know, I like being able to do it. I'm going to be doing 10 dogs for a special like family party.
Are you really?
Yeah, it's 8 dogs and 2 people are doing the same dog, but it's going to be interesting.
Live in person? Or
yeah, well, live online. And they're
right.
joining me from California, so that will be very interesting.
That's cool. When are you doing that?
March 14th. They want to do it on a Sunday afternoon. I was like, oh, all right. Let's give it a try. Yeah. I like that. It's like a family event that they're all in different areas and they are not allowed, they can't get together. So the mom thought this would be a fun thing to get the family. Everybody has dogs. Yeah. And they said, let's do like a family Sunday event, Sunday evening, and we'll paint our pets. And I think that's
really cool.
Yeah, it makes me feel really good because that's kind of what I enjoy about this whole thing is bringing joy to people with their pets or with just painting landscapes. So I'm doing coming in March. This is the new one is paint an Irish landscape. I'm going to be doing. Yeah. You think you're up for it, Mary?
I don't know. What do you think?
I think
my husband just got his Irish citizenship.
Oh, there you go. So now and then you have to do it now.
There you go.
So it's like a traditional little Irish cottage in Connemara, with the red door and like some nice cliffs in the background and some sheep in the front. So I thought this would be nice.
Be cool.
Yeah, I'm just working it up. I'm doing the video of it, and then it's gonna be my March fun paint an Irish landscape. See
I think that's great.
Yeah, that will be fun to get something. Why not get a little bit into the spirit of St. Patrick's Day? We're hoping that it'll be a little more joyous than it was last year.
Yeah, city's probably gonna be dead again.
I know. I mean, it's a little bit more open. I think they're still keeping the stuff like semi, partial open, like 30% in that kind of business. But better than nothing.
Well, that's good.
It's better than nothing, that's for sure. So, So I just went under the bridge. I did same with the brown. I did all that. I did a little rock there. Look at all the little spots. Now I'm smearing off some of the brown, just lightening it up. And I want to do some of the shadows in the bridge. I'm going to do shadows around these vases, and then the shadows underneath here. So it's basically brown, just a little more washed. You don't want it as strong as what you did in the bridges. I mean, with the trunks of the trees. So I'm just kind of taking that brown. It's a little more watery. Just going straight. Just kind of go underneath those guys there.
Oh, okay.
And these guys, it's like a washier brown. And cover that, do that triangle too, why not? And I do these, the shadow of these little pots.
Still nothing, huh?
She never came. I know. I'm trying to figure. I mean, obviously, I think the glitch in the beginning, but I did write to her.
Oh God, it's not your fault. You reached out twice.
I'll let her join again when you want to make. I want to make everybody happy. Obviously, they want to paint. I'll do it again, no problem. I'm taking that same.
Well, that would.
Yeah, taking that same brown, and I'm doing that little building that I added in the background. I'm just kind of. You don't want that to be too prominent, but you want it to like. I'm going around my little lamppost. Leave that lamppost. Like that lamppost there. And you could take some of that brown. I added a bit of that brown into some of the bushes. Again, that circular kind of motion. Don't fully cover over the oranges. Leave some of that. Just do some details with this. And this is a good way to, this lighter brown, to do some branches and stuff that are farther away. You can kind of need to fill up some of that. This is that brown. Same thing with these hedges in the front. Just a few of them. Don't cover up everything you did before, though. Just a little bit of them. Okay.
Oh, I see it.
And this guy over here, I'm going to make sure. Cover that up there. Okay. Where are we at now? Like, I'm looking at my little cheat sheet. Like, what did I do next?
I know, you need that, though.
So, I'm doing the, a little bit of, we're going to do into the greens now. So, there's a little bit of this, I'm doing a bit of that green. I'm going to smush it down because you don't want anything to be bright. But these two pots have like kind of an evergreen planters in them. And I leave a little bits where those things, if you can, leave a little bit of that paper. So we're going to put some red. If you cover the whole thing over, the red won't show through so much. Do your best. You don't have to do like exact. I don't know if you can see. I left a few spots there, and I just kind of did the red afterwards. But just if you can, leave a little pieces, fill in between these guys. And the same guy over here, I just did some red on top. So this is going to be that evergreen. Similar to what we did before with, it was a mixture of the green and the navy. You know, really darken it up. And I'm going to do these pots. And I'm going to do like a little bit of this guy, mixing with the green, the navy.
What was the color? Last week you mixed a color
we mixed
crazy.
It was yellow, straight yellow with the navy.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it came to be a perfect...
Yeah, we could try that. Here, we'll do that again.
Perfect evergreen.
Yeah, that nice, because you got that nice yellow... And the straight navy, and then kind of get that nice evergreen. So we're doing the pots. Like I said, I'm just like going underneath, leaving the sections like where those few sticks stick up. And there's a little bit blank, but go up to the top. Circular motions again, tiny circles. Like it's a little... like somebody's curly hair. And doing the same thing over this tiny pot over here, distance. Like leave it there.
Okay.
So remember the rule of 3 I was telling you. So like now we got 2 this random green, evergreen. So that's why I kind of stick some on. This building here has kind of a copper roof. So
Okay.
I'm just going to take it. It's going to be the same evergreen as these. So now that's the rule of 3. We got the 3 colors dispersed across the board.
And that's funny because you'd never, as somebody who looks at art, you never in your mind say, "Oh, there's 3."
Yeah, that's the trick.
That's pretty good.
You don't realize the eye is more satisfied when the composition is happy with the rule of 3. When there's 3 of that color, then it makes everybody happy. Makes the eye, the brain happy. It's got 3 friends.
Yeah. But you don't even know that.
That's why they're doing that. That's why it looks good. And then to take it, just connect it a little bit more, I added that, and you'll see, I added that green just to the edge of one of the trees. I'm going to smush it up, but just to kind of bring it together a little bit. Almost. And now I cleaned it off my brush all together, and I smished in some of this other color I had in there. It was like because you don't want it to be like all of a sudden this is like a full bloom tree in the middle of the winter.
In the middle of the winter,
yeah,
okay.
You just want I just smushed. It's just water. I kind of cleaned off my brush with it. I don't mind the edge being that because it looks nice. But then the middle is very wintry. I just took water and just pulled all that. And that's what we're going to do with these trees at the back here. I'm going to do that with like a mixture of like browns and navies.
Okay.
I'm going to go back in. I forgot to do these circles and a little bit of the details with these the browns on the bridge here. So let me go back with some brown. And again, it's not like super perfect, but I'm just gonna fill the circles. Yeah, and I want to go on top of them too. These circles.
Okay.
And there's the rim of the bridge there. And just kind of go up. They go off into the distance, but just touch it. Touch. Good enough. Same thing. And go on top of them too. It should be kind of a very washy. It's a very washy brown. Very light. A lot of water. You don't want it to be too. You're just kind of suggesting a little shadow. And the brush in there. This guy back here. Same thing with this little pot. He's got some brown on him. Just fill that whole square with a pot.
With the brown?
Yeah, with that washy brown. Okay, now I'm going to go into this whole washy, the trees and the distance. I'm going to do like, again, that same navy I was doing before, but it should be pretty watery.
Okay.
But leave the where the trees are white. Just leave them white. I'm gonna connect them to the brown that we did before. We're gonna just go on. So just added a little bit more navy to the edge. Just going along the edges. I'm gonna cover up my carbon.
What color are you using?
This is just navy. And I'm just going up. It's like a kind of a watery navy. Not too much wetness on my brush. I see I have a little more control. I'm just going along, covering up all my drawing squiggles.
Circles again, or more?
Yeah, you can kind of do it in a circular. That's kind of like how I did it.
Wispy, like.
Yeah, very light. Don't like. Doesn't have to be hard because you want to kind of have it like this is where the edge of the trees, the twigs that have no branches, they're just kind of touching the sky. And I'm just kind of and you just gotta go in a little bit more, a little bit. And now this is where I'm taking a little bit of brown on my brush. It's a very watery brown, and I'm kind of like blending the edge of that navy just to kind of cover up. I'm pulling up some of the tree trunks that I did. You don't want to get rid of your tree trunks. This way it's a little delicate. That's what I say would be the most difficult part of the whole thing. I'm just kind of pulling down the navy and connecting it with the brown.
Right.
Just kind of. You can go in.
I wouldn't think brown, but it works.
Yeah, because the blue with the brown makes that perfect, that more natural looking color. You could take that navy and like hit it around, some of the edges of your trees over here, so just so you kind of have it all looks in unison. So same thing.
Okay.
You gotta take that watery brown and smush it up. Pull that navy that I did. Pull that down a little bit. So this is almost like what we did with the water down here with the ice, and we're just pulling the trees so it doesn't have a hard edge. We're kind of you did that nice watery navy and just kind of smushing it into that it blends into the sky. And any of the tree trunk branches that you think might be a little too like hardcore, just kind of just smush them out a little bit, but don't make them disappear. You want them just you have a wet brush and you kind of just blend everything. You're blending your navy down, your tree trunks blended up. Get that nice kind of see-through sky, winter sky.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It took me a second. I was like, how am I going to translate that? Like, and in like a simple way. I didn't want it to be like, I didn't want to make it crazy. Like, all right, we're going to draw every single tree twig. Has to make something.
Which would be crazy.
Yeah,
it would be beautiful, but
it's all suggestive. Kind of it's like, all right, how do you really? A lot of times in art, you just you look at something, you squint at it, and that's the best way. You're like, all right, if it's too many details, like when you squint at it, what do you see? It's like a mush of like grayish, brownish, a little blue on the tops. Like I kind of saw, like in my vision, I saw a little bit of purple, but I was like, purple would be a little extreme. I thought that navy just enough. Like, you could if you want. I think navy might be a little too extreme to try. I mean, purple. Like, I could try. Let's see. I'm going to mix just because I said that. I'm going to mix a little bit of purple. Let's try this. I'm going to do this for you over here.
Over there?
Yeah. I just mixed a little purple with the navy. Actually, it's not so bad. Just a little details. Just kind of like, it was nice with a little bit of the navy. Just kind of pops off. Yeah, it's not so bad. Just try something. Not too much. You don't have to, but it's fun. The cool, warm colors. Now, there's a little background on the back here with a little brown. I'm kind of mushing that in there. Okay, same thing with you want to make sure that all this white, whatever you have in the trees right now, there should be no more white. So kind of use like a wet, dirty brush and smoosh. If you see any white in any of your tree area, the only white should be is the snow.
Okay.
So kind of just do little circular motions to make sure that the white is kind of blended away. Pretty cool. All right, so now there's a few little bits of red. That's the one I was going to talk about, the red. It's like, I'm using, it's like a gooey kind of red. Let's see, is that brown? So your potted plant should be kind of dry at this point because you don't want to mix it. You don't want it to drip.
Okay.
It's almost like, so I'm just making the sticks of the these are those kind of red sticks that are coming, and I'm going to do the same, a few of these red sticks, so you're connecting the red sticks that were in the very light.
And they're coming out of the pot?
Yeah, yeah, they're like coming out of the pot, and
it's like a board thing.
Like a little, just gives it that a little bit of a Christmassy looking thing, like a little bit like holly. And then I'm gonna take those same squiggly, these sticks down here. Again, you're just kind of going over. No, don't cover up all the nice little things you did underneath. You just want just a little bit of details of these red sticks that are sticking. These twigs that are growing out of here. At first I was like, I didn't want it to look like I was making fire, like the Central Park was on fire.
Yeah.
I was like, be careful. Like it's funny how just you go too far. Just you just want some sticks. And now there's a few twigs, and I went back to brown. I mixed it into brown and did a little few twigs sticking out of the snow over there. And then I want to go back into my brown again, doing the darker under the tree, under the bridge. That little triangle.
Now, right under so where the squiggly things are on the bridge, go up a little bit, yep, and then up. Yeah, like what color did you do there?
Above the bridge?
Okay, here. Can I show you mine?
Yeah.
You can see that?
Hold it over to the other little bit there, right? Yeah. Okay.
See all the white by the
Oh, okay. So you want it, so this is the back side of the bridge. So you want that to be kind of like, do that like in the shadow, like whatever color that you did that shadow of the brown, do the back side of the bridge. Okay. It should be darker than the front. So this part of the bridge should be the lightest. Do that back side of the bridge a little bit darker.
Okay.
And that brown, I'm going to do the same bridge that you're doing, that same color that you do in the back of the bridge. I'm going to do the side of the building. So, like a washy.
Okay. Yep.
A little bit of brown mixed with that cement kind of color that we had done before. Not too, just a tint. The building shouldn't stand out so much. And I'm just going to fill up those front panels of the building. Leave the sides of them. So you just kind of do that. A little bit. Fill that section of the building. I'm filling up that side of the building here.
So the front of the building's darker.
Yeah. I just left the two these two pieces of the building are left what the color that we did before. And you know what? I want to make this building stand away from my trees. So I'm going to make the trees a little more poppy orange. I'm going to make sure that they're not the exact same color. Kind of add a little brown and orange into these bushy, just so that they stand out a little bit. And then I want to make sure that these go into there. I'm just adding a little bit more navy into like, so I don't want, and this shadow underneath the bridge. Mixing, I want to do a little bit of black for the lamppost. A little bit of brown with black. That mixed with a little navy. Because I'm just going to fill that lamppost up. It's like a little triangle on top of the lamppost.
Yeah.
And you could take that same...
Is there a lamppost there?
Yeah, I made it a little bit bigger, you know, because it's actually very tiny. I exaggerated.
No, that's okay. I like that the other picture had the ducks and this has the lamppost.
Yeah, I was like, because I love those lampposts are very unique to Central Park. It is there, but it is very tiny in the real picture. I was like, but in the when you look at it in the wintertime, it's prominent, but it's so small. Like I actually photoshopped it to be bigger, so it was a little bit, but not so that it doesn't look realistic.
Right? No. It looks real. I have to remember. I have a somebody sent me a Christmas card that reminds me of this painting, and I tried to draw it with pencil.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's got a lamppost just like this.
Those are like very iconic in Central Park.
Yeah.
So, and I'm going into, this is really dark under here. So it was a mixture of navy with that same black that I did with the lamppost. And I just kind of smeared it in there. Just so the lamppost is not alone.
All right, got it. That's scary using black.
Yeah, you be careful with the black. I just kind of wipe it off. Don't go very hard with it. And if it's like, you can kind of also, if you want to do the rules of 3, you just go that black mixed with a little bit of brown, go along the edge here. You see it's like a little mud flat right on the edge where the ice was.
Yeah.
The snow and the dirt meets the pond.
Yeah.
That way it breaks it up there a little bit. All right.
Do this all the time. Something looks good and then I have to play with it and I blow it.
I'm going to go back on top of that background. I want the bridge to stand out a little bit. So I'm going to, like what I had in the original, I had a little bit of brown and orange just along the edge here, kind of like to make sure that the bridge is the lightest part, and the background, these bushes in the background are like a dirty orangey.
So a darker orange, you're saying?
Yeah, so I mixed some brown with orange. But see, I wanted my bridge to really, the back part of the bridge to stand out. I didn't want it to blend in with the trees. So I want the bridge to be a little bit lighter, and then you can, I just darkened up that area. Same thing, we'll just pull that darker orangey brown, follow the edge of the bridge. There you go. And you can take that orangey brown, just kind of smush it on some trees over there so it doesn't look like it's so weird by itself over here. So like you always want to like kind of balance out your painting. Put your, if you're making a color on one side, you want to kind of add it to a little. You could add it into some of these brambles here too, just near the bottom. Darken up this corner. Some browns. There we go. Alright. Add a little bit more cyan to my snow back here because I could use a little bit more. Just a tad.
So it shouldn't be stark white.
Yeah, I just kind of like.
Should any part of it be just the paper?
Oh yeah, it should. There should be a lot of just the paper. See, I'm just kind of adding a little bit of, and even that came out a little too. Like I just wanted a little bit, so just some texture in the snow. Just if you have a big piece of white, I don't know if you have like a lot of white, just kind of do like a few zigzags of this the cyan blue. But yeah, definitely don't cover up all your white because that's what makes the snow, the white snow. You don't want to cover it up completely. I'm just, especially at the back of the hill, just kind of graying it up a little bit. I'm smushing some of the color because that goes off. This should be the brightest right along the edge here. Same with here. Alright. I like adding that little purple. That kind of is a little different.
Purple worked.
Yeah, maybe. It's pretty good. Looks okay. You never know until you just give it a little try. I wasn't sure about even adding the navy into the trees when I first did it.
No, it looks good.
Yeah, so and you just kind of, if you want to just go up against the, just a little swirly swirls. Yeah, like I just smeared some of the snow in the background.
More paint then.
Yeah, you just kind of, just playing with it. Like I lean back and I look at like, what is it? Where does my eye lead to? And then I looked at the one that I did before, and I'm like, I see that I made the side of this building kind of dark, which I like because it's in shadow. It's in between, like that. And same with this guy.
Okay.
And this other little building, anonymous building.
Random building.
I know. I was like, oh, it wasn't there when we did the other ones because it was all trees now. And this guy, I want to make him look so bright. So I'm just going to add him a little bit there. All right. I like that. So I'm going to be doing this when it gets nice out. I'm going to actually hold a class at this part of the bridge.
Oh, that's cool.
Bring your blanket and I'll have it drawn for you and everything, and we can do the step-by-step in front of where it actually is. I think it might be cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah.
People are dying to get out of their houses and do something fun.
Right, of course. I think I screwed up the that upper part of the bridge. Remember what you said was all white, then I put brown?
Right, let me see. Oh no, that looks good. That looks good. So what you want to do is, this part that you're mixing, just take your paintbrush.
Yeah.
And just plain water, and just kind of like wash it a little bit with the water, and then just dab it. But leave that top part of the bridge. I need a new paper towel. I started making my bridge pink. Yeah, you just water it down, that little triangle. Just get a nice clean paper towel and dab it out. And that'll lighten it up a little bit.
Okay. Oh, look at that.
There we go. But I always say, watercolor is very forgiving. You make a mistake, just put a little water on it, and it will
start all over.
Make it all better. There you go. I'm smushing out some of my purple squiggles so they don't have such a hard edge. Yeah. There we go. Oh, my birdie.
So happy.
Pretty man. He likes singing to his mirror. Oh, really good. So there is my painting of a New York City winter landscape.
I like it.